Hello, Leanne. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am good. And today we are talking about Valentine's Day. So anybody watching this might wonder, why would two divorce professionals be discussing Valentine's Day? Isn't that sort of antithetical? Well, the answer is it's not. Why? Because Valentine's Day has historically been the day to celebrate the love of two people. And we divorce professionals oftentimes have to help people on the journey out of a relationship. And the reason why Valentine's Day comes up in our world, our divorce professional world, is because we will oftentimes have clients who reach out to us on or around January or February of the year. And Valentine's Day tends to be a milestone that is the elephant in the room as we're giving them legal advice and guidance through separation and divorce. And, rather than actually skirting it or pretending that it isn't there, we, Leanne and I, oftentimes deal with it head on because we recognize that Valentine's Day is a real low moment in a person's life if they are going through separation and divorce. So we thought it would be a really good idea to share with our viewers how we have addressed it, helped clients make sense of Valentine's Day, and as it turns out, even try to find the positive in one's first Valentine's Day going through separation and divorce. So, Leanne, have you had any, stories to share of either how you managed your first Valentine's Day separated or how you've helped clients manage that first time?
Yes, I definitely have some stories to share, both, my own personal experience, and I have many friends as well as clients who are, in the divorce space and have had to manage their first Valentine's Day. And I think first off, it's really important that people acknowledge their feelings, that whether they're feeling lonely, feeling that, sad, feeling that it's a reminder that their relationship didn't work out. Any sort of, it could be positive feelings too, but whatever feelings someone is having, it's important that they acknowledge those feelings and don't just try and suppress them. And there's many ways that you can turn Valentine's Day into a positive experience if you are feeling negative feelings. And one of the ways is by creating new traditions surrounding Valentine's Day. And I know with myself, with my own kids, I always used to give them, in fact, I still do, and they're 21 and 23. I give them a little gift on Valentine's Day. And so to me, Valentine's Day doesn't just have to be about your relationship with a significant other, in an intimate relationship. It could also be about, your friends or your, other family members. And so if you haven't already created some traditions with your children or your friends, it's a time now that you could start doing that. And and it doesn't have to be by way of a gift. It could just be by doing something together, making some special plans. And nowadays, there's a lot of emphasis on for women that Galentine's Day. I see a lot of places, promoting Galentine's Day and inviting women and their girlfriends to come for dinner or come to a Galentine's Day event or do a sip and shop on Galentine's Day. So there's a lot of opportunity out there for women in particular to create some new traditions with your friends and turn it into Galentine's Day.
I've never heard of Galentine's Day. And as you say it, I wonder, is there a Malentine's Day? So it could go both ways.
You could create it. Maybe you should start a Valentine's Day, Steve.
It's a very interesting concept. You and I talked about how there's this one movement, I believe in Japan, where a woman started this trend of teaching women to marry themselves instead of having to always think of marriage as being something that you do with another person. And so having that day where you're the bride without necessarily having a groom or vice versa. But, it's funny, you pick up on the subject of Valentine Day. The fact of the matter is, Valentine's Day, like New Year's Eve, like Thanksgiving, like Christmas Eve, there's a hallmark effect that goes on whereby people are trained to expect those days to be this magical moment, almost like entering Disney World. And of course comes along Facebook and social media, where friends and family are posting all these amazing things. Their husband brought them a dozen roses, or they spent New Year's Eve on a cruise, and the person that's not getting the roses or not on the cruise sometimes feels lesser, or that there's an absence of happiness or meaning or purpose in life. Well, Valentine's Day, actually, as crazy as it is an opportunity for someone who's separating or divorced or divorcing to think about all of that opportunity in front of them to find or refine happiness and find or refine love. The fact of the matter is, anybody going through a separation and divorce is doing it because whatever love did occur, that was an event of the past, and either that person or their spouse felt that time finished. And as much as it could be a moment to lament and become sad, Valentine's Day could also be a moment where someone that's exited a relationship could say, it was good when it was good, and now this is a transition. And Valentine's Day, February 14 of the year, if that's the year that you're going through it, the day that you're going through it, is an opportunity to now look forward instead of looking backwards. The backwards was then, you're in the present, and now you have something to look forward to. And when I speak to my clients about the future, about the possibilities that stand in front of them in the future, about the possibility of love, sometimes I even joke with them and I say, don't lose my number, because when you find that new love, I'd like to help you protect your assets in your home and come and see me about a cohabitation agreement or a prenuptial agreement. They then laugh. But they laugh. Why? Because they can't believe they will ever find love again. And that's where I get a little serious with them and say, you will. But before you can find love with somebody else, you first have to find love in your own heart. And you have to be happy with who you are and what you've accomplished. And it's those moments where a light bulb goes off with the client and they say, you know what? Right now, I don't think very much of myself. I don't think very much of love. I don't think very much of relationships and of marriage. But my job as a divorce lawyer is not simply to draft documents, to make arguments in court, or to mediate a negotiated settlement. My purpose is far bigger than that, and that's to give people hope and optimism. And when we talk about Valentine's Day, nothing can be more of an opportunity to think about what will next Valentine's Day be. It'll hopefully be far more happy, more enjoyable, more optimistic than this Valentine's Day. So I actually treat Valentine's Day, for the people going through it for the first time, as the lowest moment, which means it's the necessary precursor for the next Valentine's Day, which will be at least the love that they find in their own heart and possibly a love that they find with somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. Look at it as the start of better times and moving forward. And I think it's important for people to remember as well that it's just one day. So it comes and it goes. And so if you are struggling with it and having a hard time, it's one day. It's not like the Christmas holiday period or Hanukkah or other, extended periods of time where other people might be sharing on social media all the great times they're having with their family during that whole holiday period. It is one day, and you can limit your social media if you find that it's bringing you down to see what other people are doing. Have a sense of what you think is best for you, and don't be afraid to take care of yourself that day.
I've heard stories of actors who know the day after their premiere on stage, there are theater critics reviewing them in the newspapers or in the magazines or online.